And who's this?
AJ Polito.
Got it.
Good afternoon, Ms. Polito. Please introduce yourself to the members of the jury.
Yes, my name is AJ Bolito.
Ms. Polito, what do you do for a living?
I am a professional poker player.
And how long have you been playing poker?
It's my 18th birthday, so 35 years.
Are you any good?
I've had over 100 first place finishes, so I'm all right.
Have you played in any other poker tournaments besides the one in today's case?
Yeah, World Series is the big one, World Tour Poker, Deep Stack, kind of all the big high stakes ones.
And now, how did you get involved with the belt
Premier Casino had been asking me to play for a few years, and I finally said yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'm approaching the witness. Marked as one.
Okay.
Look at him.
Ms. Polito, what about his name?
You have handed me an email back and forth between myself and Lee Bowles of the Premier Casino negotiating myself playing in the tournament.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of communications?
Yes.
Is it in the same or substantially same condition as what you first reviewed?
Yes, it is.
At this time, the defense moves to admit Exhibit 1 into evidence.
I think you want to specify that it's in the same condition as it was when you agreed to these terms. Because that's a more relevant time period.
Is it in the same condition as when you first agreed to these terms?
Yes, it is.
At this time, the defense moves to admit what's marked as Exhibit 1 into evidence.
All right, so enter.
Now, Ms. Polito, it says specifically on there that you requested Robert Little as the DA. Why did you do that?
I requested Robert partially because he had dealt the last 3 tournaments that I'd won, and I'm admittedly superstitious. But more than that, Robert Little's known as an ethical dealer. He's one of the most known dealers in the business.
Your Honor, I first repeat the document.
You may.
All right, Ms. Polito, now I want to turn your attention to the final 3 hands.
Okay.
Now, up to those first 2 of the 3 hands, what cards?
I received pocket aces.
And what are pockets?
Pocket aces, that basically means that the 2 cards that I was personally dealt, they were both ace cards, which is the best possible hand I could have gotten.
Now, at this point, did you suspect anything after Robert Little gave you the best hand in poker 2 times in a row?
No, not at all. I mean, the only things in my mind were the cards that I had, the cards on the table, and what cards Jamie Rosenblatt, my opponent, could have possibly had. Robert Little was not a factor in that equation.
And how did you feel getting pocket aces 2 times in a row?
I mean, excited. I knew I was going to win.
And did you win those 2 hands?
I did, yes.
Now, on the final hand, what card did you?
I received a jack and a 5.
Now, is that a good hand? Okay.
Not really. It's certainly not pocket aces.
So if it's not really a good hand, then why did you bet against those?
Well, when the other 3 cards were turned over, I had a flush, and at that point, I would have just been bad at poker if I didn't bet on it.
Were there any other reasons why you bet?
At that point, Rosenblatt was starting to tilt.
What is it?
Tilting means that you are being guided more by the emotion of the last couple of hands rather than actually looking at the odds of what's on the table. So Rosenblatt, I was noticing him breathing heavily, sweating. It was just, he had tells.
And did you win that time?
I did, yes.
Ms. Polito, at the time of the event, were you aware that Robert Little had the ability to deal?
No, I wasn't. I'd never even seen his YouTube channel.
Now, I want to turn your attention when the marked cards were in use during the tournament.
Okay.
Were you aware that marked cards were in play?
No, not at all.
Your Honor, this time I a mad person citizen has been 3 marks as 3. Polito, what have I just handed to you?
This looks like a diagram based upon where all of the 10 players and the dealer were seated at the table at the beginning of the tournament. We drew cards for our seats.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of where each of the players was sitting at the time the marked cards were used?
Yes, it is.
Is it the same or substantially same condition as when you had first looked at it?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time the defense moves to admit the pre-mark as exhibit 3 into evidence.
All right, so admitted.
Okay, Ms. Polito, looking at that chart, where was Paul?
Polka was sitting here, which is directly across the table from me.
And roughly how far away was that?
It was regulation size table, so 7 feet.
Now, if Polka had marked cards, would you have been able to see them from where you were sitting?
No, when I showed them the cards before, I was only able to see the markings from within 3, maybe 4 feet.
And where was the dealer, Robert Little?
Robert Little was in the square box at the top of the table.
So if Robert Little was in the middle, how far away was he from each of the players?
Equidistant, maybe 3, 4 feet tops.
Just put that down for now. Next, I want to talk about the tip that you gave to Robert.
Okay.
How much did you tip him at the end of the game?
At the end of the game, I gave him a $50,000 chip.
And did you tip him any additional amount of money after that?
I did. I had my accountant wire him another $750,000.
Why did you tip him so much money?
I mean, first of all, it was the largest prize I'd ever received. So bigger prize, bigger tip, it made sense. But more than that, I slept on the win and realized just how lucky I was and felt I should give some back.
And now, you mentioned that your accountant wired Robert. Why didn't you just give it to him?
I didn't have Robert Little's contact information. I don't think we've ever actually even spoken beyond pleasantries at tournaments.
Now, Ms. Blue, I want you to look at it again for me.
Okay,
And so that's
sure.
Ms. Polito, if you did not cheat in this tournament, how were you able to beat the 9 best poker players in the world?
Well, I started with Powers and Shot there, and both of them are pretty new to the game, so their inexperience was no match for 35 years. Next were Roberts and Weems, and they aren't used to being challenged, so as soon as I was playing aggressively, they folded. Donahue and Lester were next. They moved to Florida, and you know what that does to a person. Bain and Palkey aren't even the best players in their family. And then that just left Jamie Rosenblatt, who used to be a solid player, but he had kids and became a little soft. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't need to cheat. After 35 years of experience and winning, I'm able to win fair and square.
Thank you, Ms. Polito. No further questions.
Um,
Jeez,
I know.